runway is visual. So, to which the pilots confirmed affirmative. So they said that they could see the runway.
Yeah.
Later, the next call comes, so and so you're clear to land, because that's the next call. Now, after that, there has been silence and the aircraft crashes
Yeah.
at
And
0846.
as you continue, Captain Randhawa, we should also pull out those visuals. While it's important to keep up with these live visuals, on
Yeah.
the bottom of our screens, maybe we can have that visual wherein you can clearly see the aircraft tilt very,
Yes.
very close to the moment that it was supposed to land. So that visual, I think, becomes very important to understand. Did something go wrong? Was it a technical error? Did the pilot take a call which didn't quite work out? Yes, go ahead, sir. That's the visual we're talking about.
Okay, now I come to the next point. Now, after 0843, now what happens? Now, the pilot has not responded to the ATC call for landing. During that time, could be that the aircraft has had some technical error, which will come out in the DFDR and the CVR. The aircraft has tilted to the left very sharply,
Yeah.
and could be there is a malfunction on the controls, or there could have been a one engine failure. So if there is a one engine failure, like left engine failure, then the aircraft immediately it goes, but the pilot is supposed to control it with the rudders and all. So these two things happen. The third point is when you are landing in a direction of 110, you are into the sun. So there is a sun glare, which comes into the eyes of the pilots, and this normally causes an illusion. So all these three things put together, and the aircraft, maybe the pilots have got engaged in the problem which has occurred in the aircraft, and it is led to the crash, and it has gone on the left side of the runway, and it hit a small, portion, which is a raised portion, and it crashed. The debris is quite, it's over 50 meters, 75 meters. The debris has been there. Now, this debris, if it is gone, so far it is scattered, it has crashed in a descent attitude.
Yeah.
And descent attitude means about a rate of descent must have been around 800 to 1,000 feet per minute. So actual analysis will come after the decoding of the DFDR and what is transpired in the cockpit between two pilots in the CVR. Pilots, as per the AIB report, the aircraft was certified and found to be airworthy and had no snags. And they have also communicated the last audit, which was done by DGCA in February 25. And these NOCPs undergo audits every alternate year by the DGCA. And apart from that, they carry out spot checks and surveillances from
Okay.
airworthiness
Now,
and
now
FSP.
regular audits, especially after the Air India crash last year, we've seen a lot of steps being taken in the right direction. But Group Captain Vinod, the question remains that this very model encountered a similar air tragedy in 2023, and the official report of which had not come out still. Investigations were still ongoing. How do you join that with also the one aspect that Captain Randhawa spoke of, where the aircraft finally crashed? It was a little short of the runway. Would you say that was just, some sort of an illusion given the sun rays facing the pilot, the foggy conditions, or do you think there was more to this? Especially given the visuals that have now been accessed.
Yeah, so a couple of points I'll quickly add to Captain Randhawa's complete narrative, and completely with Captain Randhawa on those narratives. 3 kilometers visibility, VFR filming is not allowed, absolutely spot on. But there is something called special VFR, which a pilot requests, and normally the air traffic control grants that request. In this case, since it is an uncontrolled runway, where you would have told the instructor who's sitting in a van controlling them that request special VFR, and it is a standard procedure. And in special VFR, you can land, if you have the runway visual, to up to 1 statute mile, which is about 1.6 kilometers. In India, we follow 1.5 kilometers, 1,500 meters of visibility. You can do a special VFR. For doing special VFR, you don't need any special equipment on the ground. Just a request, and the pilot needs to be current. So both these cases were met. Whether he requested special VFR or not for regulatory sake, that we will come to know through cockpit voice recorder, and if any recording was done on the ground, through the ground recording. That said, this particular aircraft climbs to 51,000 feet and cruises at 0.81 Mach, 0.81, 0.82 Mach, which is very high speed for a passenger jet. Um, so this aeroplane is very sleekly built, in the sense the wings are very sharp, which is another reason why the low speed handling, the handling of this aeroplane at low speed is not like any conventional low speed jet, like a Cessna or even an Airbus A320 or a Boeing 737, which handles very well at low speeds. This aeroplane has a tendency to something called a tip stall, or one wing stalling before the other. And it is, I mean, in the Air Force, we do something called the low speed handling, in which we teach pilots how, if you get into this situation, and we do it at the altitude, if you get into a low speed situation, how to recognize it, what is the approach to a low speed condition, what all will you feel in the aircraft, what all will you see in the aircraft, and how to recover. And every quarter we do this we call it the LHS, the low speed handling. So low speed handling is something we do religiously in the Air Force. In the civilian world, there's something called UPRT, basically upset recovery, which is done on a simulator. In some countries, it is done on an aeroplane, which is capable on an aerobatic aeroplane. In some countries, it is mandatory to do it on an aerobatic aeroplane, not in India. But even simulator handling and simulator recovery is fine.
Okay.
This particular aircraft is little notorious when it comes to low speed handling and the tip stall. And this, I mean, it is absolute. I mean, I've been teaching low speed handling for donkey's years, and seen tip stall, because we put the aeroplane in the stall condition like this that we see on the screen, and we recover from it and teach people to recover from it. Like Captain Randhawa said, you are supposed
Yeah.
to apply rudder and all that. And this particular aeroplane, mind you, has the engines very close to the body. So if you have a single engine failure, the other, it is called the adverse yaw with the other engine, is bare minimum or nearly nothing, because it is along the fuselage itself. So single engine failure leading to a yaw condition of flight is very, very rare or nearly impossible in Learjet 45.
But
So
some
that said,
miscalculation happened, Group Captain, isn't it? Because the plane also crash landed not on the runway itself. So if it were a technical error alone, don't you think whatever happened subsequently to the aircraft would have happened on the runway? It happened a little short of the runway, a little away from the runway, a few meters away.
absolutely. In fact, I was coming to that point. Like Captain Randhawa said, they were now trying to land on runway 11, and 11 early morning, sun up towards you. You have just done one go round, and regulatory requirement is when you do the second go round, you have to. If you do the second go round for whatever reason, if you can't land, then you have to divert. So when he saw the runway at the last minute, and we tried to align with the runway, is the time aeroplane flicked and went into the ground. This is my analysis. And I mean, I've rarely been proven wrong in any analysis till date, touch wood. So I think in the preliminary report, aerodynamic stall is something that is what is going to come out. That, I mean, I'm more or less certain on this, basically because of having done these maneuvers myself, and also an air accident, in a trained air accident investigator, and done umpteen
Yeah.
number of air accidents, including something similar like this, including few fatal accidents. So that in the bag, I'm saying this with more or less certainty that it is an aerodynamic stall,
Okay.
which is the problem with aviation, or which is the risk that aviation has. So with no pointing fingers at anything, it is
Okay.
a peculiarity of the particular aeroplane.
Okay, all right. Captain Randhawa, now just speaking of the Baramati airport, you'd given us a lowdown of, what exists, what kind of infrastructure doesn't exist there. But that said, in the past as well, there have been a lot of accidents, especially involving flying academies, training. Would you say that those were early warning signs that were not read into, those were red flags that possibly were left unaddressed, and is why this even happened, could have been avoided?
I I tend to agree with you because there are a lot of points we have been proposing to the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Uh, Earlier, I was in the capacity. I've been in DGCA for 12 years, and I happened to set up one airline in the Northeast, and I was closely associated with these VFR airports. Now, first and foremost thing, at the VFR airports, we've been telling the government it's very easy to, tell the public that, okay, so many airports we've opened. But opening a bare airport and not having the landing aids is bizarre. In our country, there is the weather is changing, and in same time of the year you can have four weathers in different parts of the country. Now we've been saying that you must put the landing aids at these stations. They've started the Udan routes. They are to tier two, tier three cities. They are VFR airfields. So you require 5 kilometers visibility. Now, as Group Captain Vinod said, that special VFR, I would like to touch upon the special VFR part. Pilot cannot decide. First of all, there is an approval process which is required by the DGCA for an operator to operate under special VFR, and there are a lot of conditions to be met.
Okay.
Only after that, the operator is allowed to use the special VFR conditions. Otherwise, you cannot. A pilot cannot decide and just go ahead and accept special VFR and land. So that is point number one. So coming back to the airport, so these airports they require so that the aircraft can land in a lower visibility conditions. That is the idea, and we've been addressing this right from the time when Mr. Madhavrao Sindhya, when Mr. Jyotiraj Sindhya, he was the
So you're saying that
Civil Aviation
pilots
Minister.
concerned are made to undergo a special training in case of VFR airports if they're actually
Special
flying.
VFR, yes, you need certain amount of experience. Then you take into account that how many pilots are there, what is the experience levels, what is the aircraft capability, and a lot of points are considered, and the operator has to apply to DGCA, and then only the approval process we grant permission. If if say 10 people apply, 10 operators apply, maybe only 5 or 6 get it. Special VFR is not given, and that too just came about, I will tell you, about 2.5 years back. Earlier, special VFR was only applicable to armed forces. They could use the special VFR,
Okay.
and it was given to some helicopters, right? Because they go into conditions where you will never get 5 kilometers, so they'll never land. So special VFR was allowed for helicopters, but there also the approval process was there with the DGCA. The next point is that what I was telling you, that these airports, if you don't want to spend that much, we have suggested that you start with the PBN approaches. I was involved with the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and I had suggested, I had got 2-3 vendors also, the NAVBLUE, which is an Airbus industry organization which designs the PBN approaches. Now, if you see China, we have to take cue from them. A lot of the airports are in the valleys, and they have a lot of problems. They are all equipped with the PBN approaches. Now, moment you do the PBN approach, your minima drops and you can land in poor visibility conditions. And you don't require
So an overall system upgrade is needed. This is a problem on multiple levels that needs to be addressed.
Yes.
Captain Randhawa, we'll take this conversation forward, perhaps try and reconnect with you in just a bit. For now, we'll have to thank you because we need to quickly go across to our reporters as well. There's lots unfolding in Baramati. In the next few hours, we're going to see the funeral procession. We're going to see the last rites, last respects being paid to Shri Ajit Pawar. I do want to bring in Yasha and Mayuresh, my colleagues, into the conversation. Mayuresh, you know, we just saw visuals of the mortal remains, the ambulance being carrying the mortal remains to Kathiawadi. Now, Kathiawadi is also very significant, right? And is why this entire plan has been made in a way that people can gather in as many numbers to pay their respects to Shri Ajit Pawar. Tell us what's happening there. What are you seeing? Can we also see Pawar family members this morning?
Future of the party is equally important, and I think that the kind of relations that Ajit Dada had maintained with everybody, that should also be continued by the family.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for speaking with us. That's what we heard from former Minister Mr. Deepak Kesarkar. As you asked me the question that what exactly is the scenario at this particular location, Kathiawadi, where the Ajit Pawar's farmhouse is here, I'll show you that you can see from behind that people are started pouring in when they got to know that his mortal remains have been brought here. And these are the visuals which we are getting you from the Kathiawadi. I'll ask Mana to show you the visuals of the farmhouse, and it is jam-packed. You can see that people are started coming over here. There's a heavy security, and you can see that this is the way. And just 50 meters away, if you could see that white car which is coming, there is the main gate, but it is completely packed because a lot of people are waiting outside. They want to go inside and pay the last respect to their beloved leader who is no more now. And no one had thought that they will see this kind of a day in their life, because whenever we spoke with anyone here in Kathiawadi, people used to say that Ajit Pawar is the only face now, and if they have any work, if they have any kind of work, whether it's related to development, whether it's related to the education or anything, they directly used to approach Ajit Pawar, because the system over here was very much clear that Ajit Pawar used to spend Monday to Thursday in Mumbai, or Monday to Wednesday in Mumbai. Thursday he used to come, Thursday, Friday he used to spend in Pune, and again for Saturday and Sunday he used to be here at Kathiawadi. He used to be here at Baramati to meet his own people. And when he used to be there at Sahyog Society, where his residence in Baramati there, or at this Kathiawadi farmhouse, or even for that matter the party office, approximately 10,000 people used to be there to wait for Ajit Pawar, to meet him. And Ajit Pawar never used to disappoint anyone. Whatever the work they have got, whatever letters they have brought, whatever the work they have brought, Ajit Pawar used to look into that, and he used to ask his team to get that work done if it is possible, and if it was not possible, he used to tell them straight away that it is not possible. So this kind of a system Ajit Pawar had fixed here, and that's why people are feeling that void right now also, because they lost their own person. That's the feeling here. You can hear also. See, these are the people who are waiting outside his house to get to see him, to pay a last respect. The authorities over here, police is basically telling them to vacate this place, because right now the mortal remains of Ajit have been kept for family members, and from here they will be taken to Baramati. But people are refusing to leave this place, because as I said, that people are still in a shock. They cannot believe that they have lost their charming leader, they have lost their iconic leader, and he was a stalwart leader. We have to give it to that. Ajit Pawar was a very straightforward speaking person, but he was a very stalwart person. He was a stalwart leader, was a grassroots leader, and that's why this kind of a support is pouring in for Ajit Pawar. Back to you.
And the longest serving Deputy Chief Minister of this state, he's seen Maharashtra politics move through several twists and turns, and he survived it all. And like Mayuresh was pointing out, Kathiawadi is the place where he would listen to people, hear their grievances at least once every week without fail. I do want to bring in Yasha Kotak into the conversation. She is joining us from Vidya Pratishthan. This is the ground where his final rites will take place close to 11:30 am. Yasha, we're learning Home Minister Amit Shah, top BJP leaders, several INDI bloc leaders will all be seen there in a few hours. Tell us all about the preparation, what you're seeing around yourself.
Absolutely. I'll take you through what it looks like here at Vidya Pratishthan. Let's recollect that Vidya Pratishthan is the place which has been, in fact, envisioned and made into the kind of educational institute that it is by the Pawar family. if you see, this is the stage that has been made. Right behind this is a huge picture of Ajit Pawar. This was the same place where his mortal remains were kept last night for people to pay tributes. Now, after this stage has been set here, this is where after the mortal remains are brought from the procession, they'd be kept at this very stage, and that's where you see all the preparations being made for his last rites as well. The prayer will be lit here. You also see this huge picture of Ajit Pawar right next to it, where his mortal remains were kept yesterday. And the barricading that you see tight police bandobast in and around the area, and which is where it's important to note that beyond this barricading is where all the VVIPs would be seated. There's a different entrance for VVIP, there's a different entrance for all the people from Baramati, because you clearly see that there'll be a sea of supporters coming in from across Baramati, from villages of Baramati to pay their last respects, to in fact catch the last glimpse of Ajit Dada right here, because clearly he was known as Dada by people from Baramatikars. Dada as in the elder brother, which to some people here and understand. They've come here to pay their last tributes to Ajit Dada. अजीत दादा को सब दादा बुलाते थे क्योंकि वो बड़े भाई जैसे थे. बारामती कर के लिए जो थे बहुत
बड़े भाई.
आप बताइए कि आप बारामती कर को आज क्या लग रहा है?
बहुत अच्छा आदमी है, अब बात नहीं कर सकते मैं.
आपकी कभी मुलाकात हुई थी अजीत दादा से?
बहुत बार हुआ.
कोई वाक्य आप बताना चाहेंगे?
अभी नहीं बोल सकता मैंने, अभी ये बस.
तो आज आखिरी बार अजीत दादा को देखने आए आप लोग सब यहाँ पे?
आए थे 2 महीने पहले आया था इधर, काम था. काम क्या हो रहा है?
Yasha, you know, we see everyone there tearing up. It genuinely feels like a personal loss, and people don't want to even comment. That's how severely they're feeling it, how much this is really pinching them. Yasha, we'll come back to you in just a bit. We need to quickly zoom out and shift our attention to another bit of breaking news that's just come in. The Aviation Minister said the AIB's final report on the 2023 crash is still under preparation, citing ongoing discussions with concerned authorities. Also assured that the findings would be shared in due course despite the 2.5-year delay. Let's listen into this comment by the Civil Aviation Minister. All right, we'll just play out that reaction. I do want to bring in Anvit Srivastav into the conversation in the meanwhile. Anvit, several questions being asked because this very plane, once again operated by VSR Ventures, a Learjet 45, crashed in September 2023. The final report not out as yet, and many are saying that had there been a thorough probe, had everyone known what really went wrong with that plane in 2023, this could have been avoided. Now that's the question people are asking today, but tell us what the Aviation Minister has said, and what about the probe?
Well, see, he has said that things are in progress, and AIB is doing its work, and it might, the report is yet to come out, and AIB is working on it. And if we talk about the 2023 incident of Learjet, it happened on 14 September 2023, and the flight was moving from Visakhapatnam to Mumbai, and in the Mumbai airport, it was that the accident took place. This time, as far as the investigation in this case is concerned, we are being told that FDR details have already been obtained by the AIB team, and also enhanced ground proximity warning systems data has also been retrieved. All the data has been sent to DGCA labs, what the sources tell us, and also a digital engine electronic system has been extracted, and that also has been sent and it's being analyzed. Other than that, we have been told that ATC tapes and conversation between pilots and ATC is also being looked at, and that is also being read in detail. And in this case also, in the recent case also, that will be one of the crucial components as to whether there was any technical glitch on board that was communicated to the ATC in the last moments of the flight. Documents from the crew had also been sought by the AIB. Last known status of the report is, and also the incident is being probed by 2 officials from the AIB, both assistant director level officers. We are also being told that report is in its final stage, and it might be made public soon. But
Okay, so some assurance is now coming in from the Civil Aviation Minister, especially with regards to the 2023 A crash, similar jet run by the same operator, crashed in 2023, left 6 dead. Questions being raised. We'll keep tracking that story, the ongoing investigations and much more after a very quick break. We'll be right back. Keep watching.
2023 there was a crash of same company, same aircraft in Mumbai, but AIB has still not published its final report. So
I'm trying to follow that up also. We'll get some information and I'll definitely share it.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Viewers, we have breaking news coming in. This just in. UBT Sena Chief Uddhav Thackeray meets Pawar family in Baramati. Viewers, we're given to understand that UBT Sena Chief Uddhav Thackeray has met Pawar family in Baramati. So, Mayuresh, back to you. Who exactly from the Pawar family was present during the meeting, and was Sharad Pawar himself involved or consulted? If you could give us a little information on that.
So Uddhav Thackeray late in the night had arrived at Baramati and he met Ajit Pawar's family at Baramati residence. In that meeting, or when Uddhav Thackeray reached at Ajit Pawar residence, Parth Pawar, son of Ajit Pawar, was there. Even the Sunetra Pawar, wife of Ajit Pawar, was there. And the Rashmi Thackeray and Uddhav Thackeray met the grieving family members, and they also shared their condolences with the family. This meeting basically happened in the Baramati residence of Ajit Pawar and almost lasted for 15 to 20 minutes. Because if you have to remember that Ajit Pawar was also Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra during the Mahavikas Aghadi regime when Uddhav Thackeray was Chief Minister, and Uddhav Thackeray has openly said many times that basically both of us have got personalities that we felt that we should have met way early, because the way Ajit Pawar works and his aesthetic sense is about everything, about a bridge, about anything. So Uddhav Thackeray was basically really appreciated his aesthetic sense, and he used to say that Ajit Pawar is a taskmaster. So his knowledge, his experience had really helped me while running that short stint of 2.5 years which he had it. So that's why it was having a very close association with Ajit Pawar. The daily meetings, or we can say the during the COVID times, the meetings which used to happen, that also Ajit Pawar many a times held. When Uddhav Thackeray was hospitalized, Ajit Pawar was the person, or Ajit Pawar being a Deputy Chief Minister, had also chaired the cabinet meetings of Maharashtra government during the COVID times and during Uddhav Thackeray's absence. So certainly they had a very close association, and that's why the family, Uddhav Thackeray preferred directly going to at his residence and met the family, met his wife Sunetra Pawar and son Parth Pawar. And Uddhav Thackeray will be also attending, Uddhav Thackeray and Rashmi Thackeray both will be attending the funeral at Vidya Pratishthan today at 11 o'clock.
Right, so Mayuresh, it's very important to understand right now how are rival factions within the NCP and Shiv Sena reacting to this meeting. You know, do we have any information on that yet? Are they developing any strategies for, for moving forward?
See, as of now, if you talk about the politics, Ajit Pawar was a person who was having a really good relations across all parties. Now we see Uddhav Thackeray, the party chief of UBT, along with his family, had visited his place. We have seen a lot of NCP faction leaders, especially from the Sharad Pawar faction leaders, expressing their views that how it is a big loss for themselves. We spoke with the former minister Rajesh Tope, who clearly said that though I am in NCP Sharad Pawar faction, but it is a clearly big loss, a personal loss for me, because we were having a really good relation since last 2 generations. Our families were together, and we were having, and whatever I have learned so far in politics, whatever opportunities I have got, it is because of Ajit Pawar. So right now, if we see the political angle, there is nothing much we can say, because people are still in a shock. The political fraternity in Maharashtra is still in a shock, and it is unbelievable news for them as of now.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Viewers, we have breaking news coming in. This just in. UBT Sena Chief Uddhav Thackeray meets Pawar family in Baramati. Viewers, we're given to understand that UBT Sena Chief Uddhav Thackeray has met Pawar family in Baramati. So, Mayuresh, back to you. Who exactly from the Pawar family was present during the meeting, and was Sharad Pawar himself involved or consulted? If you could give us a little information on that.
So Uddhav Thackeray late in the night had arrived at Baramati, and he met Ajit Pawar's family at Baramati residence. In that meeting, when Uddhav Thackeray reached at Ajit Pawar residence, Parth Pawar, son of Ajit Pawar, was there. Even the Sunetra Pawar, wife of Ajit Pawar, was there. And the Rashmi Thackeray and Uddhav Thackeray met the grieving family members, and they also shared their condolences with the family. This meeting basically happened in the Baramati residence of Ajit Pawar, and almost lasted for 15 to 20 minutes. Because if you have to remember that Ajit Pawar was also Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra during the Mahavikas Aghadi regime when Uddhav Thackeray was Chief Minister, and Uddhav Thackeray has openly said many times that basically both of us have got personalities that we felt that we should have met way early, because the way Ajit Pawar works and his aesthetic sense is about everything, about a bridge, about anything. So Uddhav Thackeray was basically really appreciated his aesthetic sense, and he used to say that Ajit Pawar is a taskmaster. So his knowledge, his experience had really helped me while running that short stint of 2.5 years which he had it. So that's why it was having a very close association with Ajit Pawar. The daily.
Welcome back. Breaking news coming in. Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has pushed back against Congress criticism of the landmark free trade agreement between India and the European Union, dismissing the objections as misplaced and politically motivated. Piyush Goyal's remarks came amid Congress's concerns over the agreement's potential impact on domestic industries and regulatory space. Jairam Ramesh, remember, flagged worries over the European Union's stringent health and product safety standards, which will continue to apply to Indian exports even after the FTA comes into effect, and further highlighted concerns surrounding refined fuels, India's largest export category to the European Union, and how they may be affected under the new trade framework. So these are some of the concerns which were raised by Jairam Ramesh, which have been dismissed by Minister Piyush Goyal. Jairam Ramesh, in fact, took to social media X and spoke of, gave a number also on how India's aluminium and steel exports to EU have already fallen from $7 billion to $5 billion. I do want to bring in Pallavi Ghosh into the conversation. Pallavi, these concerns have been flagged by leaders like Jairam Ramesh, and they say that this is a concern that the entire INDI bloc has with regards to future of Indian exports. Now, tell us how those concerns have been addressed by Minister Piyush Goyal.
So the Commerce Minister has given a point-by-point rebuttal to all those allegations which have come in from Jairam Ramesh. The main point which the Congress party is raising is that, first of all, it's not really a mother of all deals. It's actually a huge hype, and it's not going to end up benefiting neither the Indian importers nor the exporters. He raised the point about the fact that the European Union countries themselves are not in a very good financial health, and we are only trying to help them out by opening up our markets. And the Piyush Goyal has given now statistics to show the economic growth story as far as many of the EU countries are concerned, thereby rejecting this point that the EU was looking at markets, and that is why India was in a hurry. The second big concern which has been raised is by the huge tariff cut which has been given to the EU cars, personally German cars. That is the question which is being raised by the Congress party. What will it do to our automobile industry? Again, another rebuttal coming in from Mr. Piyush Goyal, where he says that it is only in one particular segment, which is the high-end segment. Otherwise, the thrust of India's economy is always going to be on Atmanirbhar or Make in India. But I don't think you're going to see the end of this kind of confrontation. Parliament session is on. There's going to be a discussion on the budget soon. And during that time, the Congress party is going to seize the opportunity to make the larger point that the government is rushing ahead with these FTAs, which does not benefit India, but merely opening up the market for other economies.
Jairam Ramesh categorically said that the carbon border adjustment mechanism is one of Congress's key concerns regarding the FTA, Pallavi. And then he went on to say that CBAM will expand to other categories of India's industrial exports, and this can effectively nullify any gains India secures from FTA. Has that pointed concern also been addressed by the minister?
Oh, yes. In fact, at the press conference yesterday, and even in that point-by-point rebuttal of Mr. Jairam Ramesh, as far as the carbon content is concerned, he said that we are negotiating on this, and we have kept this uppermost in our mind for negotiations. Look, the EU-India deal may have been inked, but still it's going to be, the fine-tuning of it is going to take place because the EU will also have to ratify it. And you know, when deals are put into motion and put into effect, lots of changes start taking place on the ground. I think one thing which they made it very clear that this deal is the mother of all deals because it's not only going to benefit EU, but for India, it is going to be a huge market which we are going to be tapping. Many of the Indian products are going to be opening up, for example, not just education, which we are talking about, but even dairy products, agro products of India, which we want to export, many of the fruits, dry fruits, ancillary parts, all of that is going to find a win-win situation as far as both exporters and importers are concerned.
Many thanks, Pallavi, for joining us with all those details. It's a point-by-point rebuttal that's come in from Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal. We head into a very short break with that. We'll be right back with more on the other side.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Viewers, we have breaking news coming in. This just in. UBT Sena Chief Uddhav Thackeray meets Pawar family in Baramati. Viewers, we're given to understand that UBT Sena Chief Uddhav Thackeray has met Pawar family in Baramati. So, Mayuresh, back to you. Who exactly from the Pawar family was present during the meeting, and was Sharad Pawar himself involved or consulted? If you could give us a little information on that.
So Uddhav Thackeray late in the night had arrived at Baramati, and he met Ajit Pawar's family at Baramati residence. In that meeting, when Uddhav Thackeray reached at Ajit Pawar residence, Parth Pawar, son of Ajit Pawar, was there. Even the Sunetra Pawar, wife of Ajit Pawar, was there. And the Rashmi Thackeray and Uddhav Thackeray met the grieving family members, and they also shared their condolences with the family. This meeting basically happened in the Baramati residence of Ajit Pawar, and almost lasted for 15 to 20 minutes. Because if you have to remember that Ajit Pawar was also Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra during the Mahavikas Aghadi regime when Uddhav Thackeray was Chief Minister, and Uddhav Thackeray has openly said many times that basically both of us have got personalities that we felt that we should have met way early, because the way Ajit Pawar works and his aesthetic sense is about everything, about a bridge, about anything. So Uddhav Thackeray was basically really appreciated his aesthetic sense, and he used to say that Ajit Pawar is a taskmaster. So his knowledge, his experience had really helped me while running that short stint of 2.5 years which he had it. So that's why it was having a very close association with Ajit Pawar. The daily meetings, or we can say the during the COVID times, the meetings which used to happen, that also Ajit Pawar many a times held. When Uddhav Thackeray was hospitalized, Ajit Pawar was the person, or Ajit Pawar being a Deputy Chief Minister, had also chaired the cabinet meetings of Maharashtra government during the COVID times and during Uddhav Thackeray's absence. So certainly they had a very close association, and that's why the family, Uddhav Thackeray preferred directly going to at his residence and met the family, met his wife Sunetra Pawar and son Parth Pawar. And Uddhav Thackeray will be also attending, Uddhav Thackeray and Rashmi Thackeray both will be attending the funeral at Vidya Pratishthan today at 11 o'clock.
Right. So, Mayuresh, it's very important to understand right now how are rival factions within the NCP and Shiv Sena reacting to this meeting. You know, do we have any information on that yet? Are they developing any strategies for, for moving forward?
See, as of now, if you talk about the politics, Ajit Pawar was a person who was having a really good relations across all parties. Now we see Uddhav Thackeray, the party chief of UBT, along with his family, had visited his place. We have seen lot of NCP faction leaders, especially from the Sharad Pawar faction leaders, expressing their views that how it is a big loss for themselves. We spoke with the former minister Rajesh Tope, who clearly said that though I'm in NCP Sharad Pawar faction, but it is a clearly big loss, a personal loss for me, because we were having a really good relation since last 2 generations. Our families were together, and we were having, and whatever I have learned so far in politics, whatever opportunities I have got, it is because of Ajit Pawar. So right now, if we see the political angle, there is nothing much we can say, because people are still in a shock. The political fraternity in Maharashtra is still in a shock, and it is unbelievable news for them as of now.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Viewers, we have breaking news coming in. This just in. UBT Sena Chief Uddhav Thackeray meets Pawar family in Baramati. Viewers, we're given to understand that UBT Sena Chief Uddhav Thackeray has met.
Welcome back. More breaking news coming in on the India-UFTA. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has criticized the trade agreement, accusing Europe of prioritizing commercial interests over its support for Ukraine. In an interview, he expressed disappointment with the European Union, alleging it continued buying refined products from India linked to Russian oil and declined to align with tougher US trade measures while pursuing its own deal with New Delhi. So that's the latest comment that's coming from US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. I do want to go across to Akanksha Saroop, who joins us with more details. Akanksha, something we've heard of from Scott Bessent in the past as well, especially on the day when the trade deal was being announced here in India. But give us a sense of what you make. The constant emphasis on purchasing Russian oil via India seems to be irking the United States a lot.
Which is factually incorrect, Kritsveen. Remember, India has already cut down and is phasing out its own purchases of Russian crude, something even Europe was doing. And Europe admits to it that they themselves are phasing out their purchase of Russian crude. And this is something that has been made amply evident by the European delegation. In fact, the European High Representative for Foreign Affairs, Kaja Kallas, also said the same thing, that Europe is phasing out their own purchases. India is currently standing at its lowest purchase of Russian oil. So why is the US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent making these factually incorrect statements and is getting away with it without any sort of intervention coming in from the US President or the US Vice President J.D. Vance? And remember, it is not just the US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. You also have the trade advisor, Peter Navarro. All of them have sort of built this kind of a anti-India cabal, where this kind of rhetoric is time and again coming out. But it's also a case of sour grapes. Remember, the EU president herself has said that this is the mother of all deals. And more importantly, she said that this trade liberalization will open a zone to 2 billion people. Most importantly, it is via trade cooperation that India and Europe will be looking towards rectifying a challenging global order. And we all know who is challenging the global order. It is these tariffs. And so for Scott Bessent, not just to make that statement on the day EU and India were forging that historic deal, but even again today in that interview to CNBC, it only goes on to say that it's a case of sour grapes, because India will now have access to a 27 trading bloc that EU is. And this when US has still not been able to finalize even the first tranche of their BTA. Kritsvi.
Many thanks, Akanksha, for joining us with all those details and really clearing the air around that statement that's coming in from US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. We head into a very quick break with that. That's all from me for now. We'll be right back in just a bit.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Viewers, we have breaking news coming in. This just in. UBT Sena Chief Uddhav Thackeray meets Pawar family in Baramati. Viewers, we're given to understand that UBT Sena Chief Uddhav Thackeray has met Pawar family in Baramati. So, Mayuresh, back to you. Who exactly from the Pawar family was present during the meeting, and was Sharad Pawar himself involved or consulted? If you could give us a little information on that.
So Uddhav Thackeray late in the night had arrived at Baramati, and he met Ajit Pawar's family at Baramati residence. In that meeting, or when Uddhav Thackeray reached at Ajit Pawar residence, Parth Pawar, son of Ajit Pawar, was there. Even the Sunetra Pawar, wife of Ajit Pawar, was there. And the Rashmi Thackeray and Uddhav Thackeray met the grieving family members, and they also shared their condolences with the family. This meeting basically happened in the Baramati residence of Ajit Pawar, and almost lasted for 15 to 20 minutes. Because if you have to remember that Ajit Pawar was also Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra during the Mahavikas Aghadi regime when Uddhav Thackeray was Chief Minister, and Uddhav Thackeray has openly said many times that basically both of us have got a personalities that we felt that we should have met way early, because the way Ajit Pawar works and his aesthetic sense is about everything, about a bridge, about anything. So Uddhav Thackeray was basically really appreciated his aesthetic sense, and he used to say that Ajit Pawar is a taskmaster. So his knowledge, his experience had really helped me while running that short stint of 2.5 years which he had it. So that's why it was having a very close association with Ajit Pawar. The daily meetings, or we can say the during the COVID times, the meetings which used to happen, that also Ajit Pawar many a times held. When Uddhav Thackeray was hospitalized, Ajit Pawar was the person, or Ajit Pawar being a Deputy Chief Minister, had also chaired the cabinet meetings of Maharashtra government during the COVID times and during Uddhav Thackeray's absence. So certainly they had a very close association, and that's why the family, Uddhav Thackeray preferred directly going to at his residence and met the family, met his wife Sunetra Pawar and son Parth Pawar. And Uddhav Thackeray will be also attending, Uddhav Thackeray and Rashmi Thackeray both will be attending the funeral at Vidya Pratishthan today at 11 o'clock.
Right. So, Mayuresh, it's very important to understand right now how are rival factions within the NCP and Shiv Sena reacting to this meeting. You know, do we have any information on that yet? Are they developing any strategies for, for moving forward?
See, as of now, if we talk about the politics, Ajit Pawar was a person who was having a really good relations across all parties. Now we see Uddhav Thackeray, the party chief of UBT, along with his family, had visited his place. We have seen a lot of...
Good morning and a very warm welcome. I'm Kritsween Valia. Let's first up start this edition of the news with the top headlines we're tracking this morning. Baramati engulfed in grief as Ajit Pawar's mortal remains reach Katewadi. Nation pays homage to Ajit Dada to be cremated with full state honours close to 11 a.m. this morning. After the Baramati airport crash, Indian Air Force deploys emergency ATC team equipment to ensure flight safety during probe. Aviation Minister addresses delay in Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau final report on the 2023 crash, says findings will be shared after consultations. After Mamata Banerjee hints at foul play in Ajit Pawar's death, Sharad Pawar rejects baseless claims, says no conspiracy involved, purely an accident. Union Minister Piyush Goyal defends India-EU trade deal, slams Congress criticism, calls pact a win-win opportunity for growth, jobs and global economic partnership. An India-EU trade deal irks the United States. Trump's Treasury Chief Scott Bessent slams pact, says Europe put trade over Ukraine. And on day two of budget session, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to table economic survey in the Parliament today. All eyes on India's growth story. Karnataka after Delhi BJP alleges a multi-crore excise scam involving over 600 crore rupees, demands probe into the alleged financial irregularities. Congress rejects claims. Kashmiri shawl seller brutally attacked in Uttarakhand after identity check. Series of attacks spark outrage. Chorus grows for action and justice. FR lodged in Bengaluru against actor Ranveer Singh for allegedly mocking Daiva tradition during an event at the International Film Festival in Goa last year.
Hello and welcome, and thank you so much for staying with CNN News 18. I'm Griha Atul, and let's begin with our top focus story, which is to do with the passing away of the Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar. Now, after the passing of the veteran leader, Mr. Pawar, in a tragic plane crash yesterday, his mortal remains are now being taken to his native village, Kadewadi, for the final rites, a place that shaped his journey from a man of the soil to a powerhouse in state politics. His son Parth Pawar went to collect his remains from the Baramati hospital. Earlier today, Shiv Sena UBT chief Uddhav Thackeray also went to Kadewadi residence to offer his condolences. We are learning that the mortal remains of Ajit Pawar will be kept at his residence for the last darshan, after which the process of the last rites will be beginning at about 11 this morning. Remember, Pawar's chartered Learjet 45 aircraft went down and burst into flames while attempting to land in dense fog early on Wednesday morning. The flight was en route from Mumbai to Baramati, where Pawar was scheduled to attend campaign events, some public meetings, and the black box, we are learning, has been recovered, and that was done shortly after, and the police have registered an accidental death report in connection with the plane crash. Top leaders have started reaching Baramati to bid farewell to Ajit Pawar. And we constantly have our reporters, our colleagues who are tracking each and every development. We will keep giving you all the updates as the last rites are about to in fact begin in Baramati of Ajit Pawar. My colleague Mayuresh Ganpate is joining us live from there. Let's go to Mayuresh. Mayuresh, what can you tell us about the updates right now, the leaders who have already begun assembling for the final farewell to Ajit Pawar?
Absolutely. Right now I'm standing outside Ajit Pawar's farmhouse here in Katewadi, which is approximately 9 to 10 kilometers away from the Baramati, where his final rites will happen. I'll ask Mana Das to show you the visuals. You can see these are the visuals that people of Katewadi, people knowing him, his followers, his party workers, local residents, who all are coming from after paying the last respect. Some of them want to go from this particular gate, but police is strictly adhering to the rules. They're saying that you have to go from the front gate. This is a rear gate only for the exit. If we talk about who all have right now come, we spoke with Bhaskar Jadhav, Shiv Sena UBT group leader in Maharashtra State Assembly. We spoke with Shiv Sena NCP Shiv Sena leader. You can see the family also is moving right now. A few other family members are going inside to pay the last respect. Even after Bhaskar Jadhav, we spoke with many other leaders. I will try to get a few voices there. Hindurao. Now I've been joined by Hindurao. So the family is basically inside. That's what the family one of the family member was telling us. Pramod Hindurao is also a close associate of Ajit Pawar, and he is deeply in shock. You can see that he's helping the family members to arrange the vehicles, and now those who have paid the last respect will be moving towards Baramati, where the final rites will be performed of Ajit Pawar. Now, if you talk that what exactly the scenario, this is the scenario which Mana is showing you. The road is completely jam-packed. People are continuously coming when they got to know that his mortal remains have been brought here. And you can see the family members also here, one by one. They are coming out of the farmhouse after paying the last respect, and now they will be going ahead towards the cremation ground, which is in which basically in Baramati. After this, we have been told that Ajit Pawar's mortal remains will be taken to one of the auditoriums in Baramati, where they will be kept for some time. And after that, the final journey will start of Ajit Pawar's and the last rite will be performed at Vidya Pratishthan. So it's a very emotional and a very emotional moment because you can see that a family is there, and no one had expected that a person like Ajit Pawar will pass away in such kind of accident. So it's still they cannot believe it, and they are still in shock. Even not even family, but also the people of Baramati, people of Katewadi are still in shock. We did try to speak with Dilip Valse Patil, who is also close associate of Ajit Pawar. He had worked with Sharad Pawar as his personal assistant. Then he worked with Ajit Pawar in his cabinet. Even he could not react. I asked him, so if you want to share any kind of a memory of Ajit Pawar, he said, I have no words right now, and he also left. So you can see that the way amount of people are coming out from the farmhouse after paying the respect, after paying the last respect. So we are expecting that there will be some kind of a delay which may happen for the procession to start. Back to you.
Absolutely, an absolutely teary farewell that members of the NCP and in fact leaders from across political spectrum, the farewell that they are giving to Ajit Pawar as his final journey now begins. The last rites are all set to be conducted later in the morning. My colleague Yesha Kotak also continues to be with us on the broadcast. Yesha, separately, if we take a look at the investigation of this plane crash, we're also learning how an AIB team is already there in Baramati. And also for the leaders who have begun to come in since yesterday, there has been an additional ATC deployment that has been made. So these developments too are happening parallelly.
Absolutely. In fact, like we see right behind, for all the VVIP movements like you've been speaking about, there is a special request that had come in, which was accepted by the Indian Air Force, which have in fact now been deployed, so as to ensure that all the VVIP movement that is coming in, that is coming in, it's well looked after. In fact, we also saw how the Air Force had said that this was in response to civic authorities' urgent request, wherein the Air Force swiftly deployed a dedicated team of air warriors who are providing the air traffic control and meteorological service to support the air operations in Baramati. Now, this is because we clearly see that today there'll be massive VVIP movement right here at Baramati. When we speak of the proximity of Baramati, the closest airport here is the Pune airport. It is only the airstrip which we see, which is used for VVIP movement. Like in case of usually it was Pawar family which would use this airstrip for their regular movements right here. So in this case now it's the same airstrip which can be used for VVIP movements because the closest airport is Pune, which is approximately say 2 to 3 hours from Baramati. But in the visuals you can also see how there's a clear there's barricading that's been made. The entire western region police staff, that of western Maharashtra, they have been deployed approximately more than 2 to 5,000 police officers, constables. They've been deployed at this very location across the entire Baramati, right from Satara, Kolhapur, Solapur. All of the police officers from all of those areas have been called in to look after the VVIP movement, and the area very next to the stage that has been made for the last rites of Ajit Pawar, that has been set for the VVIPs to be sticking there. The Pawar family would be seated right behind in the shed that's been created, and next to it is where the VVIP movement, because we'll be expecting Home Minister Amit Shah, Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, several top leaders from Delhi, several chief ministers. They'll all be making their way to Baramati today. But parallelly, yes, that you've been speaking about the investigation that is taking place after the crash that took place yesterday. What was important is that the DGCA team had to reach here just to collect evidences And after almost a day is where the DGCA team has finally reached at the crash site. Now this crash site that we speak of,
Yes.
it is on the slope of the airstrip, because the aircraft in this case had just missed the landing on the airstrip and had crashed right next to it on the slope. So DGCA team, because yesterday the forensic team was present, the NDRF team was present, local police was present, but when it comes to any kind of an aircraft, because it's an aviation related tragedy, so which is where the DGC and AIB have to be the responders who will in fact conduct the entire investigation, which is where the DGCA team has already reached and they're collecting evidences from the crash site.
All right.
Yes.
And Mayuresh, both you and Yesha are at the Katewari farmhouse of Ajit Pawar, where the last rites, where the prayer meeting is happening. The last rites eventually get conducted later in the day. The kind of attendance that Mayuresh you have been talking about and taking our viewers through, we are also learning that the Shiv Sena UBT chief Uddhav Thackeray also has made his way to Baramati to offer his condolences. So we were already talking about how leaders across political spectrums have all assembled there to in fact bid adieu to Ajit Pawar. The kind of significance that he's had in Maharashtra politics, in national politics, is immense.
Absolutely, and very few people know that Ajit Pawar, before contesting the state assembly election, he had contested the Lok Sabha election from the Baramati constituency and he had won his first election. So that how his political career started from Lok Sabha. So when we had interviewed Ajit Pawar, that time also I had asked him that why didn't you like the Delhi atmosphere, or why didn't you like that atmosphere? So he said, no, always my attention was in Maharashtra and my constituency Baramati, and that's why I decided, I told Sharad Pawar that I don't want a second term, and I came back to Maharashtra. As you asked about the Uddhav Thackeray, yes, last night Uddhav Thackeray had met the family here only at Katewadi, where he met Sunitra Pawar, Ajit Pawar's wife, and both the sons Parth Pawar and Ajay. And if you remember that when Uddhav Thackeray was chief minister, it was the first time Uddhav Thackeray had taken any constitutional post. He became the chief minister and he was not having any experience of how to run the show or how to run the assembly. That time Ajit Pawar had always come for his rescue. Ajit and Uddhav Thackeray has admitted that I was not having any kind of experience, but it was Ajit Pawar and few other senior colleagues like Balasaheb Thorat and Ashok Chavan who helped me to run the entire show, and especially during the COVID. After also we saw that when Uddhav Thackeray was not well, that time also Ajit Pawar took the charge and he used to head the cabinet meetings as a deputy chief minister, and he had taken few decisions that time. So Ajit Pawar was a person that he used to help his colleagues, he used to show the way to his colleagues. A small memory I can tell during after the COVID, when there was several road works which are happening in Mumbai under BMC and Maharashtra government. That time Ajit Pawar asked Aditya Thackeray to do a kind of a surprise inspection. He along with Aditya Thackeray had done a surprise inspection at 6 a.m. in the morning to see whether the work has been done or whether work has not been done.
Right.
If you talk about Ajit Pawar, his aesthetic sense was amazing. If he found that something is missing or something is not matching to this particular structure which has been created with the help of the government money, he used to pull up the officials, he used to pull up the engineers, and used to make sure that they will fix it. So his aesthetic sense was amazing, I will say that. And we have seen that there are several videos where he is pulling up the officials and engineers for not making that perfect, not making that structure or not doing that work perfectly.
Well, absolutely. And isn't that an absolute piece of pathos? I'm taking on from the point that Mayuresh is making, Yesha, that this very tabletop airstrip that Baramati has, he had issues with it. He wanted an expansion of this very airstrip and he was looking at developments. He wanted a status report and he died while landing at this very airstrip.
Absolutely. In fact, when we speak of that very airstrip for a very long time, because it is just one airstrip and there were limited landings that would take place there. But for a very long time, Ajit Pawar would request, for the airstrip to be, in fact, to have ILS system there, expand that airstrip. And not only that, when we speak of Baramati, while we've seen him closely work, his day would begin at 4 a.m. in the morning, especially during elections time. His interviews would start at 4:30, would continue his interviews until 6:30, would head back, meeting people in different villages of Baramati from sometimes 6:30 to 9:30, and then again take the same airstrip and go all across the entire western Maharashtra to campaign. Would again return back at around 12, 1 o'clock and again begin his day next morning. And despite all of this, he would meet thousands of people in one day, addressing their concerns, addressing their local issues, and which is where the people that we see today right here, where we are standing, all of them have had chance of Ajit Dada Amar Rahe, because they've all had close connection. Each and every Baramartikar, Ajit Dada might have not known them by their name, but there'd be hardly any person in and around Baramati who might have never interacted with him, because be it the village sabhas that he would hold or the gatherings that he would hold at his residence over the weekend to meet people, people would line up in thousands to meet him, to address his concerns. As far as his schedule is concerned, as much as we've interacted with him, he would have the dedicated time in the day allotted, be it in Mumbai, be it in Baramati, to people, and during that allotted time, he would ensure that he addresses their concern. The person who was of that DCM stature, who had been in politics for more than 4 decades now, he, despite all of that, had that kind of a ground touch to him, and that's why we see the kind of support.
Absolutely, and that's the ground touch that he's had, and we see that in the sea of support that has in fact gathered there in Baramati, the very stronghold of Ajit Pawar. We also have our guests who are joining us early this morning. Tushar Gupta, senior journalist, is with us. Shaina NC is the spokesperson of the Shiv Sena, is with us, and also Jayant Menkar, another senior journalist, joins us this morning. Shaina, coming to you first. Our colleagues were just telling us about the kind of legacy that Ajit Dada leaves behind. A mercurial leader who stepped out of his uncle Sharad Pawar's shadow. What are your memories of Ajit Pawar? How would you now describe him after his passing?
So I think in one word, if one were to describe Ajit Pawar, it would be an able administrator. And for me personally, he is my neighbor. We share the same boundary wall. So one USP was that every morning you would have people visiting from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. And even on the day of his demise, he had, his karyakartas and people who come for help from 6 a.m. to 7:30, and only then did he leave for Baramati for the Jilla Parishad elections. But I think we need to highlight 2-3 points. One is that, the risk that leaders take on, sometimes public does not see. Whether it's traveling by road, irregular hours, early in the morning, choppers, trains, aeroplanes. So I think that a leader puts before himself his electorate, his voter, and that is the mass appeal that Ajit Pawar had. Because for 50 years to be in politics, and those who are on your panel who have covered politics know that 50 years is a long, long time. Right from being an MLA to a finance minister to an irrigation minister to a deputy chief minister. And you know what the irony was? That yesterday he was 66 years, 6 months, 6 days, and had been the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra 6 times. And I think life comes full circle, because sometimes birth and death are the only 2 incidents in your life which you can call destiny or the hand of God. And
absolutely,
in this
and that's
way,
the
a
absolute
very
reality.
tragic.
Death's the great leveler. But thank you so much for sharing those inputs. In fact, Shaina, do stay on with us. Tushar, everyone who we have spoken to after the sudden demise of Ajit Pawar has said this one thing, that his day used to start really early. From 7 a.m., I beg your pardon, he was at it for his work. In fact, before I go to you, Tushar, we have the visuals of the NCP patriarch Sharad Pawar, who has arrived in Kathiawadi in Baramati for the final rites of his nephew Ajit Pawar. And these are the live visuals that our colleagues are bringing to you. As Sharad Pawar has stepped out of the vehicle, he has arrived for the final rites of Ajit Pawar, along with other leaders who already assembled over here. Remember, we have been telling you about how leaders across political spectrums have all joined in together to bid adieu to Ajit Pawar. The Union Home Minister Amit Shah, along with the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra Eknath Shinde, the Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, all of them assembled there for the final rites of Ajit Pawar. Right now, the final darshan is currently underway, and everybody is going to go ahead for the last darshan of the veteran Maharashtra leader. Tushar, do go ahead, please.
You know, one can disagree with the politics of Ajit Pawar, but one can never disagree. But the man had real intent towards the people he was serving. Everyone I have spoken to and I have, heard to since yesterday, they all told me just one thing, that this man was available for his constituency, for his people 24/7. And that's not something you can say about every politician. Ajit Pawar leaves an irreplaceable void in the NCP today. A tall leader, a stalwart of Maharashtra politics, and the NCP and the Maharashtra politics would wonder how do they fill a void as big as this? Because, for all his, politics, for all his life in the public service, he was always available. He was always there for the people. He was very particular about the causes he was serving. He was very interested in the whole politics around and the policy formulation around the KG basin. So there was a lot of things that were going on with Ajit Pawar. But the question now that stands before every one of us is, how does one replace the void that has been left by Ajit Pawar? He created a faction of the NCP. He served as the deputy chief minister. He was a part of the government. I recall that video from 2024, just after the Maharashtra assembly results, when he very, on a lighter vein said that I don't know if anyone is taking the oath or not. I'm taking it for sure. So he was a very active participant in politics. He was very well connected in Delhi as much as he was connected in Mumbai and, of course, in Baramati. So, this is the loss of the people of Baramati to begin with.
Absolutely.
This is the loss for the people of Maharashtra. And again, the question, all of us are staring at is, who will fill this void? Can anyone even fill that void?
Absolutely, and there are already talks of succession that has begun, but it's very difficult to fill that large shoes that are left behind by Ajit Pawar. We are talking about how he has always been a son of the soil. He's been so connected with his constituency there in Baramati. In fact, unfortunately, his last journey also is taking place from Baramati itself. I'm going to Yesha Kotak now for a bit. We are now learning that after Sharad Pawar's arrival, there have been other senior leaders like Mr. Rajnath, like Mr. Raj Thackeray and also Sadanand Sule, who also arrived there at the venue in Katewadi. Do go ahead, Yesha. We are learning of other senior leaders who have arrived there. What can you tell us?
Absolutely. In fact, when you speak of Raj Thackeray, he's arrived at Katewadi, which is a farmhouse of Ajit Pawar. That's where right now the mortal remains are. The mortal remains would be taken in a procession all the way from Katewadi to this very place where we are. This is a Vidya Pratishthan. Vidya Pratishthan is a university in Baramati, and this is the same place from where Ajit Pawar did his schooling. In fact, when you speak of Vidya Pratishthan, this place is known to be envisioned and grown by the Pawar family itself, and Ajit Pawar would closely look into this. Today, at the same place is where his last rites take place, and so as to take a stock of the station, take a stock of the preparation of the last rites, where we see Sharad Pawar has reached here along with Sadanand Sule, who is the husband of Supriya Sule. We expect Supriya Sule to be along with Sunita Pawar, the wife of Ajit Pawar, like she was yesterday, because clearly the visuals that had come out since it was a parliament session which was on, Supriya Sule being the MP, Sunita Pawar also being the member of Rajya Sabha, both of them were present at Delhi along with Ajit Pawar's son Parth Pawar. All of them came in together from Delhi to Baramati. So, however, Sharad Pawar had come in from Mumbai. The uncle who was mentor to Ajit Pawar, though he was seen in wheelchair, it in fact kind of showed the fact that a person who had groomed Ajit Pawar for so long, for him to be taking a stock of this was in itself a moment that he would not have really ever thought of. And apart from, of course, Sadanand Sule and Sharad Pawar, who are here to take stock of situation, we also see key leaders of NCP, be it Sana Malik, who is the MLA from the NCP Ajit Pawar team, and Nawab Malik, her father, who's been a bit of a controversial figure in the NCP. He's present here too. All of these leaders have in fact camped in Baramati from last night itself. Apart from them, we also had seen Sunil Tatkare, Sambhuraji Desai. All of them had were already in Baramati since late last night, and some of them have already started arriving here at Vidya Pratishthan. In fact, you see Sharad Pawar right now in the visuals. He's seated right behind, in the small shaman that's been created for the Pawar family, wherein people are coming, visiting Sharad Pawar. And this is right next to the picture of Ajit Pawar that's been kept. It was the same place where his mortal remains were kept yesterday for people to pay tributes. And as Sharad Pawar supervises the work of the stage that's been set for the last rites of Ajit Pawar right here, as you see the visuals.
Right,
on the
absolutely.
screen.
Emotional
Over to you.
scenes that are coming in from Katewari. There you can see Sharad Pawar. There's also the Vidya Pratishthan from where Ajit Pawar, like Yasha was mentioning, had done his schooling from, and that's where he would be laid to rest finally. We also have Jayant Menkar, who continues to be with us. Jayant, the importance of Baramati for the Pawars has been immense, and like we were mentioning about how Ajit Pawar, while he was en route to Baramati, wanting to attend certain public meetings for the Jila Parishad elections, is how he passed away. Supriya Sule is also there, the MP of Baramati, and his cousin. It is a lot of significance that this place has had for the Pawars. Clearly, the entire family is assembled to bid adieu to Ajit Pawar. Your memories of Mr. Pawar?
Well, you said that Pawar has attachment and importance of Baramati. It all began in 1967 when senior Pawar, Sharad Pawar, got elected first time as MLA. And since 1967, now this is continuing till 2024. Even right now also another Pawar, Ajit Pawar, he was MLA, we should say. So that's the kind of nearly over 50 years. The MLA of Baramati is only from Pawar family. And as far as MP is concerned, since Mr. Sharad Pawar got first time elected to Lok Sabha in 1984, and since 1991 till the date, one of the Pawars, either Sharad Pawar, once Ajit Pawar or Supriya Pawar, the Pawar family is MP from Baramati Lok Sabha. That's the importance of Pawar family for the MLA and MP both, as far as Baramati is concerned. Though after Ajit, uncle and nephews parted the ways, there was some pressure, there was some tension within family. Against Supriya Pawar, Ajit Pawar's wife, Sunetra Pawar contested, and even Ajit, one Yogendra Pawar from Pawar family contested against Ajit Pawar. But it seems with the passing away of Ajit Pawar, entire family is united, as you are showing on the screen. Entire Pawar family has come together when this crisis has arrived, and that is what is Pawar family's importance in Baramati. Because as I said, since 1967, it's nearly over 50 years of time that Pawars and Baramati is something inseparable.
Right, absolutely. Tushar, do you see this unfortunate incident of the passing of Ajit Pawar to be a leveler for the NCP, the two factions that have split since when Ajit Pawar, along with his set of MLAs, MPs, decided to in fact join hands with the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Shiv Sena? Do you see this merger talk to in fact happen in reality?
You know, Griha, NCP at the assembly level is just two factions. But at the Zilla Parishad level, at the municipality level, it's still one party. Even in the Zilla Parishad elections, they were going for an alliance of convenience, which is natural because the party was also desperate to register a resurgence of sorts. They had not performed really well in the recently concluded municipality elections. So already at a local body level, the party has already merged into a single faction. And now the question of, the party merging overall across the state comes up. In question is the 40-odd MLAs that belong to the Ajit Pawar faction. Where will they look for leadership? Will they go back to Sharad Pawar? Will they align with the BJP? We don't know that yet. But when it comes to the parliament, of course, Sharad Pawar has greater number of MPs given their performance in 2024. But I think the merger will only be on the cards if, the NCP can really register its strong leadership. It can really give the MLAs a direction, because for now, a lot of them would be thinking about their political futures, about the next election, which is quite far. But, the entire merger depends on what kind of leadership, what kind of path the NCP really wants to take forward. Because if there is a merger, Will the merged NCP then be a part of the NDA, or will stick out of the NDA and support the government from outside? So there are a lot of political permutations and combinations that will have to be worked out before one can say, okay, a merger happened, but where does the merger take the party in the longer run and in Maharashtra politics?
And who heads the party and who heads Ajit Pawar's faction of MLAs also is the big question. Shaina, would you like to weigh in on that? Even as we, in fact, speak about the last and final journey of Ajit Pawar, this question looms.
Well, I don't think today is the day really to discuss that. I mean, obviously, as a party, he chose to venture out of Sharad Pawarji's shadow and form his own NCP, which is in alliance with our party, which is Eknathji Shinde, Shiv Sena, and BJP. But having said that, I think politics can wait its turn. Today is the day just to bid farewell and to remember all the wonderful things he did. And I'm very, very saddened to see how Mamata Banerjee and the AAP party have tried to politicize this entire issue. This is not, death is not something you should politicize. And to say that there is a conspiracy theory and a shadyantra, and I mean, everyone wants to get to the bottom of it. Who wouldn't? Look at the amount of leaders in Maharashtra itself who have lost life, whether it's a Pramod Mahajan, whether it's a Gopinath Munde, whether it's a Vilas Rao Deshmukh, whether it's an Ajit Pawar. So, and when we talk about tragic accidents, whether it's a Rupani ji, whether it's a Mr. Scindia, Mr. Pilot, YSR, the list is endless. So I think we also need to today, with sensitivity, understand that politicians put to risk their life only for the service of their voters and their supporters. So sometimes, the sacrifices that the families are making are beyond explanation.
I agree.
And if you have, a whole country mourning, and there you have Mamata Banerjee saying that, oh, this was a conspiracy to finish him off because he was planning to exit from the Mahayuti and the NDA. Please, I mean, this is not the time for screenplay and script writing. At least understand whether it's a Sunetra Vaini or a Parth Pawar or a Jai Pawar, or for that matter, even a Supriya Sule or a Sharad Pawar. They are one extended family, and the Pawars have always, in Maharashtra, been known for their family ties. I mean, politics can continue to coexist. Right. There are so many families where you have 2 members of the family in different parties, or 3 members even in different parties. That does not call or warrant this kind of commentary just to attract
Absolutely, and
the eyeballs.
which is why, Jayant, even a Sharad Pawar has gone on record and said that there should not be any politics over the death of Ajit Pawar. He's completely, in fact, sidelined whatever Mamata Banerjee has also gone on to say, talking about a Supreme Court monitored probe into the plane crash, or amongst other things.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yes, Mamata Banerjee has said it, but Sharad Pawar himself came forward to say that it should not have been not to politicize. That is, I think, cleared the air. So that may not be the issue, and that should not also be the issue. That matter must have been settled only with the words of Mamata Banerjee. There is no need even to think about that. It's just an accident. But of course, other things that, as the black box and other things, the usual air traffic control signals and everything, that will be checked in and the reports will come. But we don't need to sort of kite-flying stories of conspiracy theories. There is no need to even consider all these things.
Right, and even as we speak, we do see visuals of other senior leaders who have begun arriving there. We, a very short while back, also saw Raj Thackeray, who has arrived there. Sharad Pawar is already there. He's sitting right next to the image of Ajit Pawar, and that's how, in fact, the visuals really are talking about the somber scenes that emerge out of Katewari. We were, in fact, getting in these updates from our colleagues who are talking about how the Vidya Pratishthan school, from where Ajit Pawar had completed his education, his elementary education, is the place where he's going to be laid to rest. And we've already seen very senior leaders who have begun arriving. There you see the NCP patriarch on the top right side of your screen. They're sitting next to the image of his nephew, who's now no more. We also see that little vehicle which has arrived, that is going to be in fact taking the mortal remains of Ajit Pawar to the Vidya Pratishthan school, from where the last rites are going to be in fact conducted. We do see how the supporters have begun chanting Ajit Pawar Amar Rahe, and that chants really resonate the entire atmosphere, the entire somber scene there in Kathewari, in Baramati, the very stronghold of the Pawar family and the very place that was about to be attended by Ajit Pawar to do his bit as somebody who's been closely associated with Baramati. And while he was about to arrive there is when his plane unfortunately crashed, leading to his death. Tushar, we constantly have been talking about what this will lead to. We are getting these visuals, heartbreaking images of Sunetra Pawar ever since we have been, in fact, talking about the demise of Ajit Pawar. And we'd seen how she had politically taken a backseat after that defeat at the hands of Supriya Sule. But that entire question will linger on. After the 3 days of state mourning gets completed, this will be the one thing that the NCP, in fact the Mahayuti as well, will be impacted with.
Oh, absolutely. And I do agree with Shaina when she says that the risk the politicians take, it often goes unnoticed, or it's very underrated in the larger scheme of things. And that is why the kind of tweets that were coming in from Somnath Bharti yesterday were very, distasteful. It was very heartbreaking to see political colleagues writing such, immature tweets about their, one of their peers. Now, the question of the party, the faction, Griha, if the 40-odd MLAs are to merge back with the Sharad Pawar faction, why would they want to go out of the government? We know that the Maharashtra government has the BJP and Shinde Sena with very strong numbers. They already have the majority. In fact, the BJP alone is just 12 MLAs short of a complete majority in the state assembly. So for those 40 MLAs, what would be their priority? What would they really think? How would they want to carry forward the dream of Ajit Dada as he's fondly remembered in the government? What are the policies? What are the projects they would want to be pursued? That's very important. To me, it appears that someone from the family, maybe Sunetra Pawar, could be heading towards the post of a deputy chief minister. We can only speculate at this point. But I think they would want to remain in the government. The 40-odd MLAs, they would want to continue the work Ajit Data had begun, and they wouldn't want to leave it in between. Politics, yes, would linger, but I do not think it would be at the cost of the people and their interests, of Maharashtra. So I think that is how the politics will linger on. Yes, we'll see a lot of tussle going into 2029, but that's 4 odd years ahead of us. I don't think we need to worry about that right now. For now, I think the MLAs would just want to complete and continue the work Ajit Data had started.
Right, absolutely. And Jayant, why this question continues to be asked is because just weeks before Ajit Pawar's unfortunate demise, there were these signs of a possible reunion. After all, the two parties did join hands for the municipal corporation elections in Pune and Pimpri Chinchwad, for that matter.
See, as people, such things happen, but the period and the politics goes on. So we need to even take stock of all this situation. As you said, yes, a few days before there was a talk of two NCPs coming together. In fact, in Pune and Pimpri Chinchwad Municipal Corporation, they come together. There were some talks that even in Jilla Parishad local bodies, they will come together, and particularly to have the impact in that Western Maharashtra belt, where both NCPs stand strong and their unity would bring more. But this thing has happened. Well, I have to say something. BJP always opposes particularly the nepotism, though the party has its own nepotism within the rank and file. But at the top level, they oppose. So I have some doubts about directly Sunetra Pawar entering as the deputy chief minister. Because if they do that, there will be a severe criticism of the same, continuing with the same nepotism to which BJP opposes. So that's the one thing. Then there are some MLAs like Dilip Vaise Patil and others among the 40 odds. They have not been included in the cabinet. Now they are unhappy. So this 40 group is bound to splinter. Against the backdrop of the death of Ajit Pawar, I don't see that this 40 group, 40 MLAs will continue together. they are bound to split. A group may go to, right now we can't say, but the way it will happen, those who are having ministry, they will not leave the BJP. So naturally, they will continue with their own. But those who are unhappy, like Dilip Valse Patel, one of the senior most, and once the blue-eyed boy, even personal assistant to Sharad Pawar, when he was a chief minister. So such people, they can again regroup and may go back to the parent party. And as well as there can be a few people who will try to remain in the same, to continue with the same flag. But I doubt about them. But this is going to happen. And we
Can I
cannot
have an
forget
opinion
one
on this?
Yeah, absolutely,
Can
absolutely.
I say, can I?
Sure,
But
sure.
can I say one thing? And we cannot forget that Sunetra Pawar had attended the RSS enclave. You know, taking the name of Shahu Phule Ambedkar, even Y.B. Chavan, his uncle Sharad Pawar always kept a distance from RSS. Though he was friendly with RSS, Pramod Mahajan and everybody, but he kept a distance. But here Sunetra Pawar had attended RSS enclave. So we cannot forget. Is it that this we could see as a possible where politics can go? So I see only 2 or 3, as what even Tushar also pointed out. For some time there will not be there will be nothing, but after that, after a few days, whatever we say, this particular operation will start. Those who are happy with to stay in the ministry, they will continue either with the party that Ajit Pawar founded, or may join the BJP.
All right, Shaina, you want to come in about the possibility whether or not Sunetra Pawar can be given that Deputy Chief Minister's rank, considering her formal entry into politics has only happened as early as 2024. But before you do that, let me actually tell our viewers that Supriya Sule is there on the screen. She has arrived there in Katewari for the final rites of Ajit Pawar. Shaina, go ahead, please.
So all the people you're seeing on your screen right now are part of the Pawar family and the younger generation, the wives of the grand nephews and nieces of Sharad Pawar. And I think that this is a large family to start with. No point dismissing Sunetra Pawarji because she fought an election from Baramati. Victory and defeat does happen, but she went on to become a Rajya Sabha MP. So I would only want to say that whether it is Parth Pawar, Jai Pawar, Sunetra Pawar, that is the internal family issue. As far as the party is concerned, please do understand there are lots of senior leaders like Mr. Praful Patel and Sunil Tatkare as well.